Alright guys, so back in the day a young me decided it would be a good idea to make a PC build. Well, at that time it was 2013 and I thought, well, my PC can run stuff. And before upgrading to a new processor in the PC build, I put my old processor. It's an A8 5600K. Why was this processor bad? Well, I'm going to show you in today's video. Although for some reason this processor still costs $50 fucking dollars on eBay. Now, keep in mind that everything what you see recorded on here is with this processor. And to be honest guys, this processor, you won't be able to stream anything with this processor. Maybe some old indie games, and like I'm talking ancient indie games. And for recording, well, even if you overclock this processor, it isn't going to do the job in newer games. Now in older games, back in like 2010, 11, it was quite a good processor. Still not good enough for recording games. But look at this stuttering. I mean, this processor is not good. I tried it with a few games. First off was Tomb Raider. Now, although you think like, oh, it looks like a average alright FPS, the pop-ins, so the texture loadings and everything, it's all over the place. This is not in 1080p Ultra. This is like in 1080p, but it's actually quite a bit down from Ultra. It's the medium preset, and in some parts it's even a low preset. You see the huge pop-ins, the huge stuttering, although it will show in the end the average frame rate is 30 FPS or something. So the game technically is playable, and while not recording and stuff like that, you will be able to play this game, but not to the point where I would say it's a pleasant experience. Now, the next game which I loaded up was a game that it's not so demanding. It's NBA 2K17. So while recording, the stuttering was surreal. It was all over the place. The game was stuttering, and it was not a pleasant experience. Again, the average frame rate on NBA 2K17 was around 37 FPS. Now, I would say that's playable for a sports game, but then again, not if you want to record. Now, I tried it with a different game, with a different sports title. It's FIFA 17. Oh, and believe me, that shit was unplayable. It was not a pleasant experience. Now I tried overclocking the processor, and well, it is not a stable overclock. Let's say it's not a stable overclock. You can push it as far as like 4.5, probably due to silicon lottery and because it's an old processor. The overclock was not stable. We had frame dips, and yeah, it struggled with motor games, and this is what you are going to see in the next game, which is Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, to be honest, my current CPU isn't the fastest, it isn't the best. It's an FX 8350, but well, when I loaded up Mass Effect Andromeda and I saw 60 FPS on the loading screen, I was like, yeah, fine, it's going to be fine. But then, well, then it loaded the game. I thought, well, maybe it's going to have some frame dips and gunfights. But let's just say I loaded just the ship, like the Tempest, the ship that you fly. And look at this. Look at this frame rate. I mean, this is unplayable on a whole different level. 8 FPS, 10 FPS, the average frame rate was like 5. This was unplayable. And yeah, this CPU has its limitations, and it's not going to be a pleasant experience if you have this CPU. So the final game that I tested out was H1Z1. Now let's start by saying H1Z1. I didn't play it at 1080p, or I played it at 1600 by 900, and I played it at that resolution because it's the default resolution in which I play the game. I didn't use fraps. I used the, what's it called, the Steam overlay. So you have the Steam FPS in the game, and to be honest, in the first arena, the FPS looked like it was 30 something, which for the arena I don't mind 30 FPS. There's no gunfights and stuff like that, but with a game like H1Z1, you want to have at least 60 FPS to be able to play the game like without stutterings, without problems. You have to have a high frame rate on this game. Well, I know the game is terribly optimized. It's still in alpha, beta, early access, whatever it is in. But when I loaded the game, well, the experience wasn't that bad actually. So first off, it took a while to load on this processor, so I was the last one falling down, which is never good on H1Z1, but well, it doesn't matter. Then the next thing was the frame rate was around 40 FPS, which again is not very good. We had some dips into the 20s, not anything below 24 FPS, which is again not good at all for playing a game like H1Z1. We actually had some CPU lag, which means when I wanted to pick up an AK or a different gun, it was actually lagging. I needed to press like E 10 times for it to pick up the fucking AK. We also had 80 FPS when we were at outside of the city, so the game in a whole ran actually well. That is, if you consider something above 30 FPS playable, which I don't consider playable. And to end this video, this is a table in which you can see all the games that I tested out. And well, you see in older games like Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, it has no problem whatsoever, but in newer titles it has significantly a lot of problems and a lot of stuttering. So all of this was tested on 8 GB of DDR3 RAM, FM2 Plus motherboard, and older R9 380, because well, even with a R9 390X it didn't make any difference. This processor is not good at all. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye.